Holland Charity Golf Tournament. We've seen a lot of people out here once again. What's your favorite thing about this weekend or this golf tournament for you?
I think it's there's so much, but I mean, like to summarize, I would say it's probably just the overall community support. Supporting adaptive sports athletes, right? And I've been on the show numerous times and had the opportunity to talk about some of the struggles and challenges and barriers to sport for individuals with disabilities. And so just to see all these folks who had a great day at golf, beautiful golf course, but doing this all for like a good cause.
Ben talked to a gentleman that's starting a baseball. He's doing a baseball and a soccer field that he's going to build in Vernon. I know that now we have blind kids that are playing baseball, and they have like beepers and stuff on the bases. And things like it's unbelievable. I mean, we've talked about adaptive sports before, but now we're getting to the point where people are opening their hearts, opening their wallets and their checkbooks, and building more facilities. Are you seeing that now just around New England? Let's start like locally. Are we branching out besides some of the sports that you've been involved in?
Yeah, no, I think Connecticut and the Northeast in general has like a really robust Paralympic model, right? And almost even an inclusive sports model that matches that diversity within disability, right? And I think you're seeing a lot of brick and mortar opportunities, and then you're seeing a lot of people invest in programming in those new brick and mortar opportunities. So I think it's great. I think we're starting to see it come back to pre-COVID times. So I think Connecticut is really, really fortunate. There's numerous more opportunities available for kids with disabilities now than there was when I was a kid.
You've been all over the world playing basketball. You're an inspiration to me, to everyone, to all these kids. Basketball now, hoops, where are we playing? What's going on with the world of basketball, especially for you and all the kids that you are basically coaching through the sport?
Yeah, so really busy in the space of wheelchair basketball. So I have the nonprofit foundation, the Ryan Martin Foundation, which we do different wheelchair basketball camps for junior athletes, in the Northeast, and we do some programmatic stuff in Madrid, Spain, where I spent a lot of years playing. And then I also am the director for adaptive sports for the City University of New York, and so I've kind of built that program out from grassroots. We've got a men's wheelchair basketball team, a women's wheelchair basketball team, and a wheelchair tennis program, and going to continue to build that out in New York City with just huge critical mass of individuals with disabilities for the at the university, and just with New York City and the density of population. And then I'm also the director for our high performance programs. So our men's and women's wheelchair basketball Paralympic teams, U25, U23. So a lot of wheelchair basketball, a lot of Microsoft Teams, a lot of Zoom calls. So less time to get on the court and shoot. But, I think, Rob, you can appreciate this as an athlete. You just want to kind of see other people get the same experiences through sports, and had the good fortune to be able to do that on, kind of a micro and macro level now.
Well, I'm up to 12 AAU teams, and 4 years ago I didn't have any.
You didn't want to do it.
I didn't want any. But now that I'm in it, like, I'm sure you get this feeling, like you said. I mean, we've done it out there ourselves, but now when you see other kids get into high school and making teams or getting to college, I have one kid that came through our program. He's now in the minor leagues with the Mets, and you still have that helpless feeling, kind of like a parent. But at the same time, you feel good that, listen, if anything, we provided some kind of opportunity for kids. I wanted to ask you, Ryan, what's about the age should kids start getting involved in stuff like this? Is there too young of an age, or is there an age where, okay, this is an age we should start getting your kid out of the house?
So that's a great question. I think, you get a kid, a non-disabled child into sports, 4 or 5 years old, playing soccer, and they all chase the ball and they all kick each other kind of thing. So adaptive sports, especially in the state of Connecticut, we have a full portfolio of different opportunities where, you can teach a kid with a disability at a really early age to swim, you can get them in track and field, and at least offer them a bunch of variety of opportunities, and then let them figure out where they want to go with it. So I say it's never too soon, but I'm clearly biased. But I also think the reason why I say that it's never too soon from that standpoint is there's so much that they get that is non-sports related, right? We always push kids into sports or music or band just because of all the intangibles. Within the disabled community, we don't necessarily be able to foster all of those opportunities, but adaptive sports gives them an authentic peer group, right? right? Because for a lot of these kids, they're going to Tallinn, Vernon, wherever, West Hartford, Simsbury, all of these different communities, and they're probably maybe one or two within the school system that have that physical disability, right? So when they're able to get with their larger peer group, I think it gives them a chance to get a lot of things that we want all our kids to get. Those leadership skills, that confidence in themselves, and then just kind of, an authentic peer group.
And just getting around people in a community that is all like-minded. And sometimes the families that I've met that don't know about the avenues they can go through, whether it's a Miracle League or any kind of adaptive sports, as soon as they get in, they have got a whole new family, and it feels like they have now found a group of people that share the same problems and troubles that they have been going through, and now they find different little techniques and things to do or places to go and sports to play that they never had before because of those communities.
Yeah, and if I was to do an aerial SWOT analysis of like the adaptive sports opportunities, kind of one of our opportunities for growth would be just general awareness, right? So me being on this show, or the proceeds of this tournament going to support adaptive athletes, really starts that conversation, and it's really a grassroots thing. It's word of mouth, right? Of like, oh, this individual child has this particular disability. Let's try to get them into this program, and I'm constantly advocating and working with large children's hospitals, or like the CIAC for the High School Athletic Association in the state, to try to continue to kind of spread the word and awareness, because my worst fear, and like you talk about, like when the kid maybe doesn't feel as well as you would have hoped because they went through your baseball program, my worst fear is that there's a kid who could have really benefited from this program, or one of the programs within our umbrella of programs in the state, and they're not getting that opportunity.
As far as Ben and I talk about this all the time, I mean, I went when I worked with the Nationals, Walter Reed, and Bethesda, and you have a lot of military returning in the last 20 years, missing limbs. I've seen a lot of people out here today that are, missing limbs, that have, prosthetic things and stuff like that. Some people that are in wheelchairs and things like that. How often do you deal with like military or recently injured athletes that now psychologically having trouble coming to grips, and you're giving them opportunities to get out there and do new things?
Yeah, so we've kind of started the conversation talking about youth and, the importance of it there. I think for spinal cord injuries or veterans, individuals who acquired their disability later in life, I think it's a sense of normalcy, right? They probably were pretty active, they probably played sports, and now maybe they're playing a different sport, but they can still wrap their head and their mind around that opportunity. And so I think that's super important into their healing process, right? The state of Connecticut has two great rehab facilities, whether it's the Hospital for Special Care or Gaylord Hospital, that really promote adaptive sports as part of their overall wellness journey for an individual who's newly acquired their disability. So I think a lot of the intangibles that our youth get through adaptive sports, our servicemen and women who come back with injuries, and then, somebody who has the misfortune of acquiring their disability later in life benefit the same.
There's so many